Good morning to all. Yesterday we were discussing about the modern trends in the design of electrical machines, and we have studied the limitations we have studied and other things we have studied yesterday. So today we shall continue that. So today we shall study the modern machine manufacturing techniques. Modern machine manufacturing techniques. In manufacturing that machine, what are the modern manufacturing techniques they are using nowadays? What kind of changes are required to do that? Because demanding increasing nowadays, we need to generate more and more electricity. For that we need to design more and more machines, different rating, not only the generation part, with respect to other kinds of demands also. So we have to manufacture different set of machines with having different ratings, different speed and different applications. When wide variety of machines are required, so we have to adopt the modern manufacturing techniques to do the things, to achieve the goals, to get the progress in the machine designing field. So with respect to that, in case of manufacturing techniques, our manufacturing fields are adopting some kinds of techniques. What are those? First one is that machines are divided based on the construction speed and power output. We cannot manufacture all machines at the same place. So we have to make the separate units. That makes the efficient operation, that makes the efficient manufacturing process. To do that, so based on the rating of that, they have divided the machines. So for a small size machines up to 750 wattage, we can say it is the small size machines. For a medium size machines, we can say 750 watt to 250 kilowatt. And for a large machines, it is more than 250. It may be up with respect to the 5000 kilowatts. Even we can have the extra large machines also, we can have more than the 5000. So these are the machines they have separated based on the power output. Even based on construction also we have divided already. So different kinds of machines, yes or no. In case of induction motor, we have divided based on the construction of that rotor. What are those? Slip ring motor and square leakage induction motor. These two types we have done based on the construction only. And speed also we have done low speed machine, high speed machine, medium speed machine, like that. Based on the speeds we have divided, that people are researchers or manufacturers divided the system to make the operation simple, And one more thing is that, second one is that they are decreasing. Nowadays people are not going for large scale, always they think about the miniature, small one. So that's why small size machines are manufactured nowadays. Manufacturers doing the small size machine, they are decreasing the size of the machines, they are making the smart one. So but even though you are making a small size, it should be efficient one and overload capacity. Keeping in these two minds, they are reducing the size of the machine. Yes, we know that already. If you decrease the size of the machine, that affects on the flux density, that affects on the current density, saturation part, losses, copper loss, iron loss. So that affects all kind of things. Even though we have all limitations, we have to overcome that. We have to design the machine with a small machine, we have to do with the high efficiency and overload capacity. This is the techniques they are following nowadays. To do this, what they are doing is that, so they are using the good quality materials in case of conducting, in case of insulating, or in case of magnetic. So these are the materials we are using in our machines part. So they are using the good quality materials. If you are using good quality materials, there is a less possibility of having that losses. So efficiency increases, power capacity also increases. So that is the thing. So usage of good quality materials, that is the third one. Fourth one is that modern machines should have the wide range of applications. Yes or no? For example, induction motor. So how much applications it has in almost all places nowadays? 90% we are using nowadays induction machine. So all the places are acquired by the induction machines because of this property, because of this good quality of that machine, robustness, adaptness, and very much familiar with the people it is. That's why. And self-starting technique, it is a self-starting machine. So because of all these properties, so it is we are adopting the induction machine more and more. So that kind of machines we have to manufacture. So that is the one of the best manufacturing technique it is. So these are the 4 things we are having the as a manufacturing techniques. So even we can add more things also. So based on this, derived parts are many. You can elaborate the answers based on these things. So these are about the modern machine manufacturing techniques. So next we move on to the properties of materials. What are the materials we are using nowadays? In case of machines, we are using the conducting material, we are using the insulation material, we are using the magnetic material. So those properties we have to study now. First one. So properties of conducting materials. What are the materials we are using nowadays? Very much familiar is that copper and aluminum. So we are using that copper and aluminum very frequently. In case of machines, copper we are using. In case of power lines, we are using the aluminum. Based on that, based on the requirement, we are using that. And what are the desirable properties of good conducting material? If you want to say good conducting means what? What are the properties it should have? So those are things we have to study now. We shall study that. First one, it should have the high resistivity or high conductivity. So conductivity of that conducting material should be high. And second one is that it should have low value of temperature coefficient of resistance. It may be positive coefficient or negative coefficient, that doesn't matter. You leave that part. That doesn't matter now. But now which matters, with respect to temperature, resistance of the system will vary. In case of machine, if we are using that in case of machine we are using winding, conductors we are using windings. Whenever motor operates, temperature inside the system will increase. With respect to that, resistance of that conducting material should not vary. That should not affect on the system. If it varies, what happens? If temperature increases, that resistance will vary. Temperature increases, resistance increases or decreases, it may vary. So general thing I am telling now, I am not specific now. So resistance may vary. If resistance varies, current will vary. If current varies, that power will vary, efficiency will vary. So this temperature coefficient affects on the efficiency of the system. That's why it should not affect on the system. So whatever temperature coefficient we have, it should be as low as possible. That should not affect on the motor operation, motor performance. Next one is that it should have high tensile strength, high mechanical strength it should have, high melting point we have. So whenever motor operates, temperature increases, that conducting material should not melt at a low temperature. That's why it should have the high melting point. And next one is that high resistance to the corrosion. High resistance to corrosion. Corrosion hidibadu, tuk hidibadu material. So that kind of material it should be. And it should allow brazing, soldering and welding so that joints are reliable. For a electronic system we are using soldering, for a larger system we are using welding and brazing, for even small specific things we are using the brazing. So these things should be possible on the conducting material. But compared to aluminum and copper, there is a variation. We shall study that. In case of aluminum and copper difference, there is a variation. It should be highly malleable and ductile. this thing, it is a new thing, new words these two. What is the meaning of malleable and ductile is that malleable means what? We can create the thin sheets as much as possible without breaking that copper. Without breaking the copper, we can create the thin sheets. While doing that, thin sheet should not break. That is the meaning of malleable. Ductile means what? We can create the wires. Thin wires we can create without breaking the copper, without breaking the conducting material. So malleable means what? Making thin sheets without breaking. Ductile means what? With making thin wire without breaking. So that it should be possible with the help of this conducting material. At the same time, we should think about the cost also. Should be durable and cheap by cost. It should be durable and cheap by cost. That kind of conducting material we have to use while designing that machine. While designing the machine, that kind of material we should have while designing the machine. Now will come to the mind, what is the difference between copper and aluminum? Are they same? No, they are not the same. They have different properties. Both, that is sure, both are conducting material, but there are the properties which makes the difference between these two, copper versus aluminum. We shall study that. So comparison between copper and aluminum. Simply we can say copper is the expensive, it is the costly. Yes sir, that's why we are using this copper only to the machines. We are restricted the copper with only to the machines. We are not using in a power lines. In power lines what you are using? We are using the aluminum because of the cost. Because of low cost, we are using the aluminum in power lines. With respect to copper, it is durable. Lifespan of copper is more. Lifespan of aluminum is less compared to the copper, and it is used in the machines, and aluminum is used in the power lines. This you know, this thing very much, these things you know very well. Simply I am telling you that there is a possibility of asking question this one. In this part, they may ask the properties of conducting material, or they may ask this question also, comparison between copper and aluminum. Not only this much, even we have much more differences we shall study that. What are those? Yes. Resistivity at 20 degrees Celsius, copper and aluminum have one value. Conductivity, density, temperature coefficient, coefficient of linear expansion, tensile strength, mechanical property. Yes, check the mechanical property here. Mechanical property with respect to copper, it is highly malleable and ductile. We can create thin sheets on thin wire without breaking as much as possible. But aluminum, if we check, it's not possible to make, not highly malleable and ductile. We cannot make the thin sheets and ductile wire without breaking as compared to the copper. And melting point, you check, melting point of copper is 1000 degrees Celsius compared to the aluminum, but in case of aluminum it is less, it is 660 degrees Celsius. Copper it is 1000 degrees Celsius. Aluminum it is 660. So which is having high melting point? Copper is having high melting point. So that's why it is preferred in machines part, in machines. So it is high melting point it has. And jointing, you check, can be easily soldered, but aluminum we cannot solder easily to the copper. These are the difference we have. So in examinations, these are the values. If you remember things, you can write. Otherwise, you can make the general difference. We can write in between one or two specific values. You write and make the answer. Make the proper answer. Difference between copper and aluminum. So what all things we have studied today? We have studied the modern manufacturing techniques we have studied, and properties of conducting material we have studied, and difference between copper and aluminum we have studied today. Okay, thank you.